They say money is power, but what happens when a man has more of it than entire nations combined? In the early 1300s, a single African king rode across the desert with tens of thousands behind him. Soldiers, scholars, architects, slaves, musicians, and camels so weighed down with gold that their hooves left glittering impressions in the sand. In one journey, he bankrupted cities, simply by giving too generously. He was not born to fame. Outside his empire, few had heard his name. But when he arrived in Cairo, legend says the streets could not contain the crowds. His gifts distorted economies, his travels sparked the Renaissance, and his wealth remains unmatched to this very day, greater than Rockefeller, Bezos, and Musk combined. This is not fiction. This is the true story of Mansa Musa, the African emperor of Mali, whose legacy remains shrouded in mystery, myth, and unimaginable majesty. And today, we walk with him. Before the rise of Europe, before Columbus stumbled into the Americas, before the printing press even touched parchment, there was Mali. The Mali Empire stretched across what is today 10 modern African nations: Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, Nigeria, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Chad, and Mali itself. It was a kingdom forged by ambition and kept alive through trade, culture, and conquest. But Mali didn't appear overnight. Its roots lay in an earlier empire, Ghana, the land of gold, not to be confused with modern-day Ghana. The fall of Ghana in the 11th century opened a vacuum, and from that void, a general named Sundiata Keita rose to power. Sundiata was more than a king. He was a myth, a warrior who could not walk as a child, yet led his people to freedom. His story, passed down through generations by griots, West African storytellers, is filled with magic, prophecy, and destiny. Mali flourished under his reign, but it was Sundiata's descendants who turned it into a global force. Mansa Musa was the 10th emperor of Mali. His name means King Moses, but there was nothing meek about him. Musa did not expect to be king. He was appointed deputy ruler when the reigning Mansa, Abu Bakr II, left on an ambitious voyage across the Atlantic. Some say Abu Bakr believed the world was round centuries before Columbus. He took 2,000 ships and was never seen again. And so, in 1312, Musa became emperor, not by bloodline, but by circumstance. Some might call it fate. He inherited not only a vast territory, but also a divine mandate to strengthen the empire, to spread Islam, and to leave a mark on the world. Little did anyone know just how far he would go. To understand Mansa Musa, you must first understand the soil beneath his feet. Mali sat on the largest gold deposits in the medieval world. Historians estimate that nearly 2/3 of the world's gold supply came from West Africa at the time, and Musa controlled it all. But Mali's riches weren't just in precious metal. The empire was the beating heart of trans-Saharan trade, a lifeline of salt, ivory, copper, slaves, textiles, and knowledge. Caravans stretching for miles would crisscross the Sahel, bringing riches to the capital city of Niani. The empire's borders kissed the Atlantic Ocean to the west and reached deep into the Sahara. It controlled the Niger River, the bloodline of commerce and culture. But Musa wanted more than wealth. He wanted legacy. And so, in 1324, he made a decision that would shake the world. It began with a pilgrimage. As a devout Muslim, Mansa Musa was obligated to make Hajj, a sacred journey to Mecca. But Musa didn't just go. He transformed the very idea of pilgrimage. He departed with an entourage that staggered belief. 60,000 men, 12,000 slaves, 500 heralds bearing golden staffs, and 80 camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. Eyewitnesses in Cairo, Medina, and Mecca described the parade as blindingly extravagant. Gold rained from his hands. He built mosques in every city he passed. He freed slaves by the hundreds. He gave so much gold to the poor in Egypt that it caused a decade-long inflation crisis, crashing the value of gold in Cairo. No one before or since has traveled with such opulence. The world took notice. For the first time, Mali was placed on the Catalan Atlas, one of the most important medieval world maps. Mansa Musa was drawn sitting on a golden throne, holding a scepter and an orb of gold. He had quite literally put Mali on the map. But Musa's journey wasn't just about wealth, it was about diplomacy and image building. He met with scholars, architects, poets, and artisans across the Islamic world. And when he returned home, he brought them with him. One man he recruited changed Mali forever, Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, a brilliant Andalusian architect from Granada. Under his direction, Musa began a building boom unlike anything West Africa had ever seen. He constructed palaces, libraries, and mosques. Most famously, the Jingueiraber Mosque in Timbuktu, made from mud and earth, still standing today. Musa turned Timbuktu into a hub of learning, where manuscripts outnumbered people. The Sankore University rose to prominence, housing scholars from as far as Cairo and Baghdad. It was, for a time, the intellectual capital of Africa. But all legends cast shadows. Musa's generosity may have won him fame abroad, but at home, it created strains. The massive outpouring of gold altered Mali's internal economy. The cities he built required constant upkeep, and his death, sometime in the late 1330s, left a power vacuum that his successors struggled to fill. The Mali Empire would continue for another century, but it would never again match the splendor of Musa's reign. Rival factions emerged, trade routes shifted, and by the 15th century, Mali began to fracture, giving rise to the Songhai Empire. Still, Musa's legend endured. Even in the 21st century, Forbes ranked him the richest man who ever lived, estimating his net worth in modern terms at over $400 billion, more than the GDP of many countries. And yet how many of us learned his name in school? In the sands of Mali, stories echo in the wind. Elders still recite Musa's journey as though it happened yesterday. Children learn of his generosity, his piety, and his rise from deputy to divine king. But his story is not just about gold or grandeur. It's a story of vision, of a man who understood the power of storytelling, spectacle, and scholarship. He didn't just conquer land, he conquered time by leaving behind a legend so dazzling that even after 700 years, we still speak his name. Mansa Musa reminds us that Africa was not sleeping before colonization. It was dreaming, building, learning, expanding. And it gave birth to kings whose wealth and wisdom challenge everything we thought we knew about the medieval world. So next time someone asks you who the richest man in history was, don't say Rockefeller, don't say Bezos, say his name, Mansa Musa. If you enjoyed the story of the richest African king in history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. We're just getting started uncovering Africa's rich history they never told you about. See you in the next episode.